So we had previously posted a review of the 2025 Bowman Checklist with some of the big chases in the product. I wanted to follow up on that video with a deeper dive into the checklist, a little deeper getting into the top 30 prospects, some deeper sleepers, who to chase. I have these rankings based on what I would project for hobby value. So this isn't necessarily the best 30 prospects in the checklist, but it's the prospects that I think will sell for the most in terms of resale in the near future, as well as possible longer term younger prospects. So we're going to go into that. In addition, we're going to go into what teams to chase in PYT breaks. So what teams in pick your team breaks might be worth chasing out of this product. So we are going to start off with the top 30 prospects, starting with four prospects who I'm giving honorable mention to. Three of these prospects are sons of former big league stars. So D'Angelo Ortiz, Jaden Fielder, and Lucas Ramirez. D'Angelo Ortiz is one of two of David Ortiz's kids in this product, but the bigger prospect of the two, so I highlighted him. Jaden Fielder, son of Prince Fielder, and grandson of Cecil Fielder, and Lucas Ramirez, son of Manny Ramirez. So hobby always seems to give a little extra love to legacy kids. So those three are highlighted for that reason. None of them have done anything significant in their minor league careers so far, but some kids that might be fun to chase if they start to develop. The fourth honorable mention is Conrad Kaysen. So Conrad Kaysen is here, not because he's a top prospect yet, but because he was an overslotted, I believe, 7th round pick by the Red Sox. He's also a two-way player who it seems like is leaning towards, the organization might be leaning towards pitching, but anytime there's a two-way player, there's a little extra excitement around that, and it seems like the Red Sox might have been a little bit overexcited about him since they paid him overslot money for his draft spot. Getting into the top 30, I started my list with Alejandro Rosario. Again, I think he might be one of the better prospects in this product. He's listed in multiple top 100 lists already. However, he does not have an autograph in the product, so that hurts the hobby value of his spot in breaks and resale. So Alejandro Rosario, pitcher in AA currently for the Rangers. At number 30. At number 29, I have Peyton Eales, who's a great player, and on top of that, a fun story. He's a Minnesota Twins prospect, utility player currently in AAA, already 25 years old, so kind of old for a prospect. But Peyton Eales was signed from a regional sports league. So he was playing baseball semi-professionally, and the Twins apparently needed some more depth at their lower minor league levels. So they signed Peyton Eales just to kind of practice with the team, and he ended up just turning it on. And year after year, he has outperformed his projections and put up very solid stats. So Eales in AAA now. We'll see if he gets a shot at the majors this year. But a really fun story, maybe the best story in the major leagues this year if he makes the majors. Maybe outside of Hayden Sanger of the Mets, who has never had a Bowman card. Sanger was a grocery store employee part-time while he was playing in the minors or in some kind of semi-professional baseball league before he got called up to the Mets at the beginning of the season. Well, Francisco Alvarez was injured. But Peyton Ellis could be the other great story in the major leagues this year. Diving into number 28, we have Jonathan Long, AAA player from the Chicago Cubs. Long, not a big prospect in terms of hype, age 23 already, so a little bit older, but Long, another one that has just been producing throughout his minor league career. He is putting up solid stats again this year at AAA, and the way the Cubs organization is, there's a lot of players at the major league level that are stopping his progress to the major leagues, but maybe if the Cubs are looking for an acquisition at the trade deadline, Long could be somebody that a team could look at for a potential trade and bring him into the major leagues before the end of the year. So Long, big power bat, and maybe somebody that could be a future major leaguer. So that puts him at number 28 for me. Number 27 is Sammy Stafora. Sammy Stafora is a Reds prospect, currently ranked somewhere between the 8 and 10 spot, depending on where you look in the Reds top prospects. Reds have a pretty solid minor league system, so the fact that he's ranked within or right around the 10 mark in their projections for their prospects is definitely a good sign for Stafora. He hasn't put up crazy stats, but he's been consistent across his first year plus in professional ball. So I have him at number 27. Number 26, a fun story. Matt Wilkinson was not highly drafted, not a big time prospect, but Wilkinson, named Tugboat, has just been putting up super solid stats, as you can see by his height and size. 6'1", 270 pounds at age 22. Tugboat is a load on the mound, so he's a fun one to watch. Also led the minor leagues last year in strikeouts, so could be a big strikeout pitcher if he makes his way to the major league level. Ranked within the top 15 of the Guardian system, which again is this really, really strong minor league system. So we have Matt Wilkinson at number 26. At number 25, we have Chase Hampton. Our little run of pitchers here between Wilkinson, Hampton, and the next pitcher coming up. Hampton is a Yankee, so that of course gives a little bit of hobby boost. Any Yankee who shows up with some good stats can get some hobby love overnight. Hampton was at one point the number 3 overall prospect for the Yankees. He's had some injury troubles over the last year and a half, and he's fallen a little bit due to missed time. But Hampton, a high upside pitcher, and if the Yankees need pitching depth, which they certainly could towards the end of the year, and he's healthy, Hampton, someone that we could see as part of a potential Yankees playoff run if all goes well. So we have him rated at number 25 in the 2025 Bowman Checklist. Jumping to number 24, we have Mets prospect Jonah Tong. Tong, again, not highly regarded in the draft when he was selected. However, he has just outperformed consistently, putting up very solid numbers, very solid strikeout numbers throughout his minor league career, doing it again this year in 2025, currently in Double-A, the Rumble Ponies for the Mets. Tong, I have as my number 24 prospect and the top Mets chase in this product. Heading into number 23, we have a little run of catchers here. So Caleb Lomavita, as well as the next 2 players, all first-round catchers in the 2025, I believe, draft. 2024 draft, I should say. Caleb Lomavita, the first one on the list, was a compensation pick for the Nationals. Currently 22 years old in high A. Lomavita, I have at number 23 on our list. Then jumping into number 22, we have 2 more catchers coming up here. Malcolm Moore first. Malcolm Moore was also a compensatory pick. I'm not sure who the compensation was for. 2024, maybe that compensation was for Ohtani. So he's currently in high A, age 22 as well. Malcolm Moore, catching prospect for the Rangers. Thinking major league level for the Rangers right now. And I'm not thinking of anybody that's really blocking much, like maybe Keibert Ruiz is blocking Lomavita. Malcolm Moore, maybe a little bit more of upward trajectory and a little bit more space to run through the organization. Walker Janik comes in at number 21. He is a Houston prospect. I have him listed as Phillies here, but that is not right. He is the Houston first-round draft pick catcher. Again, there's going to be some, definitely whenever you're a Houston prospect, there's going to be some people blocking you in that system. So Walker Janik, first-rounder in 2024. So we have him at number 21. Anytime somebody's a first-rounder, it's always going to be a little extra hobby love for those first-round draft picks. So Janik, even though he's still in, I believe he's also in high A, but I think he's 21 years old. Janik, first-round pick for the Astros at number 21. At number 20, we have Brody Hopkins, who's currently with the Rays, was acquired by the Rays from the Mariners in the Randy Arozarena deal last year. Hopkins already considered a top 100 prospect in multiple prospect top 100 lists, and up as high as number 4 in what is, again, another very strong organization. We've mentioned a couple of strong organizations so far. Hopkins with the Rays. Another example of that, pitching prospect. We have a couple of pitchers back-to-back here. Hopkins has an auto and base, as I believe the rest of these players in this list will have. So we have him ranked as number 20, currently in Double-A, 23 years old. I would expect we don't see him in the majors this year, but maybe next year. The next one, number 19, is George Clausen. Angels prospect, currently in Double-A. He's ranked within the top 5 in that organization. I believe we have Caden Dana at number 1, maybe Christian Moore at number 2, and then Clausen might be right behind them in a lot of rankings. And with the way that the Angels like to promote prospects, you'd certainly think you might see Clausen in a major league uniform at sometime in the not too distant future. Jumping to number 18, we have, I believe this is pronounced Arun Escobar. Arun Escobar, Phillies prospect in low A, currently only 20 years old. Third baseman, been putting up very solid stats. I believe Escobar was an international signing in 2023. Like I said, solid stats for Escobar. He isn't in many. He's isn't in any top 100 lists yet, but I believe could be in the 100 to 150 top prospect range. And with the stats that he's been putting up over the last couple of years, as he's went through the complex and into low A, Arun Escobar, somebody that for a team like the Phillies, who get a decent amount of hobby love, could be a good chase as he starts to make it through their organization. Similar situation here with Johnny Lavelle of the San Francisco Giants at number 17. Still in rookie ball, Lavelle was part of the 2024 international signing class, if I remember correctly. Only 18 years old. Lavelle has also, like Escobar, already started to put up some solid stats and in rookie ball for the Giants, and seems to be getting already some hobby love just in conversations about the 2025 product. So we have Lavelle number 17 on our list. Jumping to number 16. So these are starting to be some more recognizable names, not as deep sleepers as we get onto this page. Number 16, we have Justinson Garcia. As you can see, based on his spelling of his name, Jostynxon. Justinson's nickname is the Password. So Hobby also loves a good nickname, and the Password is about as good as they come. Justinson is also a freak of an athlete, really good outfielder, and a big guy, power bat. So once again, another really solid organization there with the Red Sox, and he's already in top 10 lists for most rankings in the Red Sox system. So Justinson Garcia, we have at number 16 as I'd say we're fully past sleepers at this point and into players that project as very, very real future major leaguers and possible future major league stars. So next on the list, jumping into what might be the best organization in minor league baseball, the Brewers, we have Luis Pena. I honestly don't know a ton about Luis Pena. I've heard that he projects really well, good hit tool, seems to be a good fielder as well. Shortstop for the Brewers, we have him ranked at number 15. He's already in top 10 lists for the Brewers organization, which speaks volumes. Brewers are an absolutely loaded minor league organization. So if he is a top 10 prospect in that organization, he would probably be a top 5 to top 10 prospect in just about any organization. Pena at number 15. Jumping to 14, we have Rafael Flores of the Yankees. Flores was not a huge prospect coming up. Now at Double-A, he started to put up some pretty crazy stats over the last year and a half or year plus as we get further into 2025. He's already age 24 and a catcher, so things that usually are not great in the hobby, but being a Yankee potential star is always a great thing for the hobby. So Flores is part of some of the product art that Topps was putting out. So clearly somebody that they were trying to highlight as part of the 2025 release. So Flores we have at number 14 on our top 30 list. Into number 13, starting to get to some real familiar names now. PJ Morlando, first round pick in 2024 for the Marlins. Outfielder currently in low A, has not played much yet in his professional career. Was dealing with some injuries at the beginning of this season. I believe he just came back last week. And if I remember correctly, Morlando might be one of the guys that in his first week in the minors put up a couple of great ABs, put up a home run, and somebody that first rounders always get love. And Morlando may have been faded a little bit more than a lot of the first rounders in the 2024 draft. Marlins have certainly had some question marks over the last few years with their first rounders, going back to Khalil Watson. Joe Mack started off a little bit slow, but has definitely come along over the last year plus. So PJ Morlando I've heard some people fading him so far. We'll see how he develops going further into this year. So we have him ranked at number 13, also age 19. So high school kid, has a while to develop before we have to decide whether he is going to get a chance to prove himself. Jumping into number 12, another Miami Marlin. Some rankings have Thomas White as high as number 1 in the Marlins organization. Marlins weren't a strong organization going into last year, but with all the acquisitions they made, trading away pretty much their entire major league roster from 2 years over the last two trade deadlines, the Marlins acquired plenty of talent at the minor league level. So Thomas White being ranked number 1 in that system says a lot. White, currently in high A, hasn't put up the biggest stats this year, but the stats that he put up last year and the strikeout totals that he put up last year definitely say that he could be somebody, if he starts to put it together this year, could end up pretty high in some top 100 lists by next year if he is not in the major leagues at that point. Somebody who made a big jump last year, Quinn Matthews, was not projected by many as a top 100 prospect. Quinn Matthews of the Cardinals developed into a just machine last year. Eats up a ton of innings, has been doing well with strikeouts as well. Currently at AAA at 24 years old. Both him and Thomas White, high projectable lefties. Matthews, definitely somebody who could potentially be in the major leagues for the Cardinals, especially with their pitching staff having some question marks in it. Matthews could be up in the major leagues very shortly and could be a very exciting arm for the Cardinals organization. Jumping into the top 10. We are starting with Tigers, first base and catching prospect, currently in high A, Jose Briseño. Briseño currently 20 years old. Tigers, not one of the strongest organizations, but the top side of their organization with players like Max Clark, Rainer Arias, or Bryce Rainer, I should say. And who else do we have at the top of that organization? Kevin McGonigal, who we're going to talk about later. It's definitely a lot of strength at the top of that organization. And Briseño's still reaching up towards the top 5 in the Detroit Tigers or minor league rankings. So Briseño was initially a catcher. I'm curious to see what Bowman lists him, or what Topps lists him on his Bowman first, if they're going to list him as a catcher or list him as a first baseman. Big power bat as well. Big power potential there for Briseño. So we have him listed at number 10 in our top 30. At number 9, we have Yafir Rodriguez, listed as a Brewer on the 2025 checklist. Rodriguez was traded to the Red Sox for Quinn Priester. Was already ranked in the top 10 in that Brewers organization that we mentioned before, is probably the strongest in baseball. Now ranked in the top 5 of one of the other top 3 organizations, the Red Sox minor league rankings. Yafir Rodriguez, an outfielder, still young at the age of 19, so some time to develop for him, especially with all of the other talent at the top of the organization for the Red Sox, but somebody that is extremely, extremely athletic, more of a contact bat, but has started to show a little bit of power as he's developed. I believe he had a home run in one of his first at-bats in high A. So somebody that is starting to put on a little bit more of a power bat, which would definitely increase his hobby value as well. We have him ranked at number 9. At number 8, we have Eduardo Quintero, Dodgers prospect. Outfielder, international signing, I think it was about $300,000, I believe, in the 2023 class. So somebody who was not highly sought after, but as the Dodgers so often do, they scouted and they realized that he may have more upside than people projected, and he has been absolutely performing highly outside of what we would have expected for his signing bonus. Tore it up, was one of the best players in the complex league last year, and has continued that at the low A level so far this year. So we have Eduardo Quintero, Dodger, another team that is highly sought after, highly chaseable in the hobby, as our number 8 prospect. At number 7, we have Slade Caldwell, first-round draft pick for the Diamondbacks, one of a few first-round draft picks for the D-backs. Caldwell off to a huge start already this year in his first full pro year. Outfield prospect, currently in low A, currently 18, so high school draft pick, and the fact that he is already showing at low A, definitely good signs for the Diamondbacks first rounder. Somebody that is already in talks getting a lot of hobby love, seems to be displayed in all of the marketing and getting a lot of mentions early on for the 2025 checklist. So we have Caldwell at number 7. Number 6, I had to put Roki Sasaki in here since this is his first real full release. He's the only player in this list that does not have a first Bowman, but he does have chrome autographs in this product. So I decided to include him in this list. Sasaki already at the major league level, showing pretty well in his first few starts. He's shown some command issues, which we kind of expected based off of his performance in Japan. But a lot of people project him to be one of the best starting pitchers in Major League Baseball for years to come. So going to be a ton of hype around Sasaki. And the fact that this is his first full release, as well as the fact that he has chrome autographs in this product, we put him on the list at number 6. Jumping into the top 5, starting with Franklin Arias. I believe another 2024 international signing class. Maybe 2023 international signing class, Arias. Arias, 19 years old, has reached high A recently, and started to perform really well at high A already after being extremely effective in low A and in the complex over the last year. He was somebody that initially was looked at as a really good glove, a really good athlete, and a contact bat. However, he's started showing a lot of power as well, so definitely upping his hobby value. I currently have him listed at number 5, but I see no reason that with a continuation of the way that he's been playing, Arias could not end up being a top 3, maybe even 2 prospect out of this product. So Arias, somebody that I think is absolutely worth chasing, and out of the top 5, will likely go maybe lowest, maybe McGonigal will go a little bit lower if you're looking at pick your player breaks. But somebody who, out of this top 5 list, I think could be one of the better investment options. Kevin McGonigal, we have at number 4, has just been unreal every stop he's made in the minor leagues. Currently in Double A for Detroit. I believe he finished the year in Double A last year for Detroit as well. McGonigal had an injury after his first game or second game of the season. I think he's hitting 400 in those 2 games that he was playing. So some nice stats from the almost no exposure we have to him this year. But he's been, like I mentioned, just every stop he makes, he has performed well. Very strong Tigers organization, as we mentioned, and listed number 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 in pretty much every projection. I think Jackson Jobe might be number 1 still in some projections. So McGonigal maybe even rank number 1 in that Detroit organization once Jobe graduates to full major league level. Shortstop prospect, very good fielder, very good hit tool. The power still developing, so maybe will not get as much hobby love, which is why I have him as number 4, because he's not a pure power bat like the 3 that we have ahead of him. And let's go to number 3 with that. So Charlie Condon on the cover art of the product. Charlie Condon, first round pick, absolutely a power hitter. He is not a contact guy. He will go through some strikeout issues as he's making his way through the minor leagues. Already saw that last year in his brief appearance that he had in his 2024 pro debut. Injured to start the season, but came back last week and hit a grand slam in his first game. I believe went 1 for 2 with a grand slam in his first appearance of 2025. So Condon back, he will be one to pay attention to as he starts his 2025 season. And anytime there's a power bat, there's going to be some hobby love. So Condon might be one of the better power bats we've seen along with Caglione in quite some time. And being in Colorado, the home run totals that he could potentially put up could be crazy. So Condon, there's some risk there, like I said, with the swing and miss and the poor contact, but the upside with Condon is huge. So we have him ranked number 3. At number 2, we have Cardinals first round pick, shortstop currently at AA, J.J. Weatherholt. Weatherholt was projected as high as number 1 or 2 potentially in the 2024 amateur draft, but ended up falling to the Cardinals later in the top 10. I don't remember if he's 6, somewhere between 6 and 8, I believe. Weatherholt had a little bit of a rough start in his pro debut last year and started the first week or so of the season a little slow, but since then has absolutely turned it on and showing why he could be one of the best prospects in the minor leagues. Definitely in top 50 lists, and we'll see how quickly he can make it to the major leagues. Some power in the bat as well, and decent contact as well. So not as much of a strikeout threat as Condon. Weatherholt, we have him at number 2, with number 1 on the list being Jesus Madej. Madej, part of the 2024 international signing class. Madej, still 17 years old, but has put on a show throughout the minor leagues already. He's pretty widely considered the number 1 prospect in this product. Already in high A for the Brewers, which we keep mentioning, one of the strongest organizations, if not the strongest organization in baseball. Already ranked in their top 2 prospects for the Brewers. I think Edgar Carroll might still be ahead of him. But Madej seems to be a talent that, I don't know, the upside on Madej could be crazy. I don't want to go as far as saying the Zaire Hope, Ellie De La Cruz type hype and type talent, but comparisons have been made already. The kind of power, the kind of size, the kind of contact and fielding that Madej has playing shortstop could be the kind of player that eventually gets the kind of hobby love that players like that have been seeing over the last couple of years. So huge projections on Madej. And definitely going to be the big chase of this product. Probably somebody in a couple of years, which it'll take a couple of years because he's 17 years old for him to make any impact at the major league level. But as he rises through the minor leagues, could be somebody that is driving the value of this product for years to come. All right. So the let's jump back into this 2025 Bowman PYT rankings. So who to pick in your pick your team breaks. Starting with the Brewers, we have the Brewers as an A+ ranking. Clearly number one in this product. Jesus Medei, Yafri Rodriguez, and Pena. Three big chases in this product. Number two, we have the Red Sox with an A rating. Behind them, we have the Cardinals, an A-, along with the Dodgers, an A- as well. So that includes their Roki Sasaki chase. The other A- we have coming in fifth are the Tigers. Number 6, behind that, we have the Rockies with the Condon chase. Number 7, the Marlins between PJ Morlando and Thomas White. A couple of nice chases there for them. And number 8, we have the Nationals, starting off our B rankings, along with the Diamondbacks. So Nationals and Diamondbacks, bunch of rookies there for the Nationals with chrome autographs. James Wood, Dylan Cruz for the Nationals, the top 2 rookie chases. In 2025, we have them ranked at number 8. The Diamondbacks behind them with Slade Caldwell, also getting a B. The Yankees coming in at a B- between Castro and Hampton. And then diving deeper into the list, we have our C pluses ranked number 11 to 15, which are the Reds, Rays, Twins, Rangers, and Astros. Number 16 and 17 with C rankings, we have the Orioles and the Guardians. Number 18 through 23, we have C- rankings for the Royals, Angels, Cubs, Giants, Phillies, and Padres. Number 24 through 30 with D pluses and Fs, we have the Mets, Pirates, A's, Braves, White Sox, Blue Jays, and Mariners. So I'll try and follow up this video with another one, diving a little bit deeper into how we came up with these rankings, but just wanted to give a high-level ranking for PYTs as we get into the 2025 Bowman release. All right, everybody, thank you for watching.